I tell you this, there is no coincidence and nothing happens by accident. Each event and adventure is called to yourself by yourself in order that you might create and experience who you really are. All true masters know this. This is why mystic masters remain unperturbed in the face of the worst experiences of life as you would define them. The great teachers of your Christian religion understand this. They know that Jesus was not perturbed by the crucifixion, but expected it. He could have walked away, but he did not. He could have stopped the process at any point. He had that power, yet he did not. He allowed himself to be crucified in order that he might stand as man's eternal salvation. Look, he said, at what I can do. Look at what is true, and know that these things and more shall you also do. For have I not said, ye are gods, yet you do not believe? If you cannot, then believe in yourself, believe in me. Such was Jesus' compassion that he begged for a way and created it to so impact the world that all might come to heaven. Self realization, if in no other way, then through him. For he defeated misery and death, and so might you. The grandest teaching of Christ was not that you shall have everlasting life, but that you do. Not that you shall have brotherhood in God, but that you do. Not that you shall have whatever you request, but that you do. All that is required is to know this. For you are the creator of your reality, and life can show up no other way for you than that way in which you think it will. You think it into being. This is the first step in creation. God, the Father, is thought. Your thought is the parent which gives birth to all things. This is one of the laws we are to remember. Yes. Can you tell me others? I have told you others. I have told you told you them all since the beginning of time. Over and over, I have told you them. Teacher after teacher have I sent you. You do not listen to my teachers. You kill them. But why? Why do we kill the holiest among us? We kill them or dishonor them, which is the same thing. Why? Because they stand against every thought you have that would deny me. And deny me you must if you are to deny yourself. Why would I want to deny you or me? Because you are afraid. And because my promises are too good to be true, because you cannot accept the grandest truth, and so you must reduce yourself to a spirituality which teaches fear and dependence on intolerance rather than love and power and acceptance. You are filled with fear, and your biggest fear is that my biggest promise might be life's biggest lie. And so you create the biggest fantasy you can to defend yourself against this. You claim that any promise which gives you the power and guarantee you the love, a God must be the false promise of the devil. God would never make such a promise. You tell yourself only the devil world to tempt you into denying God's true identity as the fearsome, judgmental, jealous, vengeful, and punishing entity of entities. Even though this description better fits the definition of a devil if there were one, You have assigned devilish characteristics to God in order to convince yourself not to accept the godlike promises of your creator or the godlike qualities of the self. Such is the power of fear. I'm trying to let go of my fear. Will you tell me again more of the laws? The first law is that you can be, do, and have whatever you imagine. The second law is that you attract what you fear. Yes, Ayla.
Bhaiya, I want to understand the first paragraph of this page. Firstly, like how does God make promises with us? And secondly, the first line that, and your biggest fear is my biggest promise. Like, what is God's biggest promise to us?
That you are safe. हम लोग को यकीन ही नहीं होता. ऐसे कैसे? इतनी तो प्रॉब्लम्स है. गॉड ये तो बोलता ही नहीं है कि प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं होंगी, पेन नहीं होगा.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't trust.
So all the good things are basically promises made to us by God.
God never defines anything as good or bad. He defines it as an experience. It is out of
Mm-hmm.
your memory bank, your upbringing, your programming that comes. This is good. This
This
is
is bad.
bad. God
Mm-hmm.
has never defined good or bad. He has just defined that there are laws of nature that you need to follow.
Got it.
So his biggest promise is that everything is okay. और हम लोगों को ये डाइजेस्ट ही नहीं होता. हाउ कैन एवरीथिंग बी ओके? ऐसे कैसे? इतनी आसानी से कैसे हो सकता? ओके, यू नो वी आर लुकिंग फॉर कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज इन लाइफ कि हमें लगता नहीं यार, जब तक कुछ दो चार दिक्कतें ना हो ना तो लाइफ का मजा नहीं है. व्हाई? इट्स पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. लाइफ is as simple as you make it and as complex as you make it. Remember, it's your creation. Everything that is happening to you is your creation. आपने उसको सिंपल बनाना है, सिंपल बन जाएगी. आपने उसको कॉम्प्लेक्स बनाना, कॉम्प्लेक्स बन जाएगी. And when he defines that the first law is you can be, to, have whatever you imagine. Because if it is in your imagination, it exists in reality. जो ये movies बनती हैं where people are flying and everything, that is a reality. But that reality is only available to us when we are sleeping, जब हमारी astral body travel कर रही होती है in our dreams. But now, right now we have those gadgets where we can fly, you know, wear that jacket and you can fly. So anything you can imagine, you can be, do, and have that. That is basic reality. But हम लोग वो ये डाइजेस्ट नहीं होता. अच्छा, मेरे सोचने से हो जाएगा. पहला डाउट. ऐसे कैसे यार, ये तो सब बोलने की बातें हैं, ऐसा थोड़ा होता है. सेकंड डाउट, ट्रस्ट तो करके देखो. You know, we did this workshop last week about trust. Very interesting workshop. There was this guy from Israel in Ludhiana. And honestly speaking, it's, I mean, very easy to say that I trust the process. I have full trust in God. But when we did those, you know, they had a few exercises, you could actually feel that, yes, you know, giving in 100% to that trust is not that easy. It takes time. It takes practice. बोलने और करने में फर्क होता है. And but yes, the more you are in that process, the more you will attract things that will get and enhance your trust in the God or the trust in the process. Because the second law says You attract what you fear. अगर आपको किसी चीज का डर नहीं है और आप ट्रस्ट में जा रहे हो, you will attract that. बट अगर आप किसी चीज को डर, किसी चीज के बारे में डरोगे, you will definitely attract that. How many times has it happened to you or people around you that you have seen something and somebody said, oh देखिए यार इसको चोट ना लग जाए, and there and then it has happened. Why? Because that is what you are attracting. आपकी रिसीविंग का चैनल या कनेक्शन टू द सोर्स इज ऑलवेज ऑन. ये ना सोचना कि अगर आप कमरे के अंदर छुपे हुए हो तो द गॉड कैन नॉट सी और द यूनिवर्स कैन नॉट सी. दैट्स द बिगेस्ट मिथ. बिकॉज यू आर गॉड. आप जो भी कर रहे हो, द गॉड इज सीइंग थ्रू यू. You can never lie to him. In a lot of cases, you see people that they say, नहीं नहीं मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, नहीं नहीं, and they are very clear कि यार किसी ने देखा तो है नहीं, अगर मैं बोलूंगा तो ठीक ही रहेगा. But hello, you cannot lie. He can see everything. He is present inside of you, so he can see it. You can never lie to him. It's just a myth. But जो आपके अंदर फियर होता है, फियर ऑफ द अननोन, क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, that all you are attracting. Whatever you give your attention to grows. If it's fear, that will go. If it's anxiety, that will go. If it's joy, that will go. If it's blessings, that will go. If it's gratitude, that will go. If it's love, that will go. It's entirely up to you where you want to put your attention. जहां पे आप attention दोगे, जिस चीज के बारे में ज्यादा सोचोगे, वही attract करोगे. This is law of attraction. This is manifestation. Why is that? Emotion is the power which attracts. That which you fear strongly, you will experience. An animal which you consider a lower form of life, even though animals act with more integrity and greater consistency than humans, knows immediately if you are afraid of it. Plants which you consider an even lower form of life respond to people who love them far better than those who couldn't care less. None of this is by coincidence. There is no coincidence in the universe, only a grand design and incredible snowflake. Emotions is energy in motion. When you move energy, you create effect. If you move enough energy, you create matter. Matter is energy conglomerated, moved around, shoved around. If you manipulate energy long enough in a certain way, you get matter. Every master understands this law. This is the alchemy of the universe. It is the secret of all life. Thought is pure energy. Every thought you have ever had, and ever will have is creative. The energy of your thought never ever dies. Ever. It leaves your being and heads out into the universe, extending forever. A thought is forever. All thoughts conceal. All thoughts meet other thoughts, crisscrossing in an incredible maze of energy, forming an ever-changing pattern of unspeakable beauty and unbelievable complexity. Like energy attracts like energy, forming, to use simple words, clumps of energy of like kind. When enough similar clumps crisscross each other, run into each other, They stick to each other. To use another simple term, it takes an incomprehensibly huge amount of similar energy sticking together, thusly to form matter. But matter will form out of pure energy. In fact, that is the only way it can form. Once energy becomes matter, it remains matter for a very long time, unless its construction is disrupted by an opposing or dissimilar form of energy. This dissimilar energy acting upon matter actually dismembers the matter, releasing the raw energy of which it was composed. Thus, is in elementary terms the theory behind your atomic bomb. Einstein came closer than any other human before or since to discovering, explaining, and functionalizing the creative secret of the universe. You should now better understand how people of like mind can work together to create a favored reality. The phrase, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, becomes much more meaningful. Of course, when entire societies think a certain way, very often astonishing things happen, not all of them necessarily desirable. For instance, a society living in fear very often actually inevitably produces in form that which it fears most. Similarly, large communities or congregations often find miracle producing power in combined thinking, or what some people call common power. And it must be made clear that even individuals, if their thought, prayer, hope, wish, dream, fear is amazingly strong, can in and of themselves produce such results. Jesus did this regularly. He understood how to manipulate energy and matter, how to rearrange it, how to redistribute it, how to utterly control it. Many masters have known this. Many know it now. You can know it right now. This is the knowledge of good and evil of which Adam and Eve partook. Until they understood this, there could be no life as you know it. Adam and Eve, the mythical names you have given to represent first man and first woman, were the father and mother of the human experience. What has been described as the fall of Adam was actually his upliftment, the greatest single event in the history of humankind, or without it, the world of relativity would not exist. The act of Adam and Eve was not original sin, but in truth, first blessing. You should thank them from the bottom of your hearts for in being the first to make a wrong choice. Adam and Eve produced the possibility of making any choice at all. In your mythology, you have made Eve the bad one here, the temptress who ate of the fruit, the knowledge of good and evil, and coyly invited Adam to join her. This mythological setup has allowed you to make woman's man's downfall ever since, resulting in all manner of wrapped realities, not to mention distorted sexual views and confusions. How can you feel so good about something so bad? What you most fear is what will most plague you. Fear will draw it to you like a magnet. All your holy scriptures of every religion, religious persuasion, and tradition which you have created contain the clear admonition, fear not. Do you think this is by accident? The laws are very simple. Thought is creative, fear attracts like energy, love is all there is. So, what The start of the world, Adam, Eve, Big Bang Theory, they are all concepts. Nobody has actually, seen what actually happened. But how they have been labeled and judged and, referred to is amazing. As if people were there at that time and they saw Adam and Eve as to what was happening and how, they ate that fruit. And, always the fruit remains an apple. So there were no other fruits other than apple at that time. The whole concept of this is everybody wants to form an opinion in order to feed the ego. Concept हर एक बंदे को अटेंशन चाहिए और वो अटेंशन ईगो को चाहिए. इसीलिए हर एक चीज में जजमेंट, हर एक चीज में लेबलिंग, हर एक चीज में एवरीबॉडी वांट्स टू से दिस. और कहीं ना कहीं इस अटेंशन के चक्करों में ही वो डर भी साथ में आ रहा है. एंड दैट्स वेयर थिंग्स आर गेटिंग मोर कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बिकॉज द लॉ इज वेरी सिंपल. एवरी थॉट यू हैव is the most creative thing possible. Fear will always attract the like energy which is of fear. And love is all there is. अगर हम इन तीन चीजों को, बेसिक चीजों को अपनी लाइफ में अप्लाई करेंगे, believe you me, everything will be so smooth that you will actually start to have that trust and have that faith in that process, in the God, Almighty, Universe, Energy, whatever name you want to call it. That's none of my concern. But you need to, have this concept that all there is love. Have you seen how a lion loves his cub? मारता है, दांत से काटता है. That's love. यार बड़ा ही बेरहम बाप है, अपने बच्चे को कौन काटता है? So love can have different ways and means of expression. Do not judge the expression. Try to gauge the intention behind that love. That is what matters.
Bhaiya, the other day, like Supriya Di shared her experience wherein she sent love and light to one of her friends. So now over here, since we are discussing this aspect, I wanted to ask, अब जैसे वहां पे दो जने इन्वॉल्व थे, शी फेल्ट नेगेटिव फ्रॉम द अदर साइड कि मतलब सामने वाला प्रोबेबली इग्नोर कर रहा है. तो अगर हम लव एंड लाइट अपनी साइड से सेंड कर रहे हैं या हम अपनी इंटेंशंस क्लियर कर रहे हैं, अगर सामने वाले की इंटेंशंस नहीं क्लियर है तो फिर हमें वो डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट कैसे मिलेगा, कंसिडरिंग कि वी आर द क्रिएटर्स ऑफ आवर ओन डेस्टिनी. तो अगर दो बंदे आमने सामने एक पॉजिटिव क्रिएट कर रहे हैं और एक अपनी साइड से भाग ही दूर रहे हैं हमसे, फिर कैसे एक पॉजिटिव आउटकम
Never
आएगा?
change others.
हाँ जी.
You can never change others. When she said that I gave love and light to the other person, she made herself clear. ने अपनी intentions ठीक की है. You can never change anybody. All you can do is change your perception about the whole situation.
तो उतने से the situation will get positive, basically.
Yeah, if it has to. If you want it to, basically.
Got it.
The whole concept is जब हम दूसरे के बारे में सोचते हैं ना, मैंने तो सब ठीक किया, प्रॉब्लम तो उसकी है. Where is our thought?
Negative की तरफ. Yeah.
Where is our focus? Not with us. That means we are not working on ourselves. The moment that thought, that attention, that awareness comes to you, why is it, what is it in me that I need to work? Banda same रहता है. The person will never change. His habits will never change initially. But the trigger it has on you right now, if it's an uncomfortable situation, you will get a mechanism to desensitize yourself from that trigger, so that will stop affecting you. The person will never change, the situation will also never change, but you will have been, capable to make a mechanism, self-working mechanism for yourself, which will desensitize that trigger which is causing you discomfort right now. बंदे में कोई change नहीं आता.
Got it.
You only
Simple.
work on yourself.
I have a question.
Yeah, who's
So
it?
we read in the last page that we attract what we fear and we can achieve whatever we think of. So, but down the line, like in our minds, we always have something negative. Like, for example, if we say like physical pain or physical illness is what we have the biggest fear like these days. So, if we are thinking in our brain about that, so do you say that we are attracting that also?
Yes.
So, like, how to overcome that? Like,
Stop giving it attention. When you are in a journey of being consciously aware, अब जो अवेयरनेस होती है या कॉन्शियसनेस होती है, बीइंग कॉन्शियस अवेयर की जो जर्नी होती है, that is a journey where you are very aware and very alert. This is a negative thought. Why am I giving this energy? Change. That's how you start work. Because abhi kya hai, if you're not very, in that journey of being consciously aware of yourself, your surroundings, your thoughts, एक नेगेटिव थॉट आता है, हम उस नेगेटिव थॉट की ट्रेन में बैठ जाते हैं और वो पता नहीं कौन से स्टेशन से ट्रेन चेंज होके होते 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 कहाँ पहुंच जाती है, हमें पता ही नहीं लगता. बिकॉज वी आर लिविंग द अनकॉन्शियस लाइफ. बट इफ आई एम अवेयर, ओहो ये तो मेरा माइंड नेगेटिव सोच रहा है, अच्छा ओके, चलो भाई, change the thought. I need to be in command. So the way to the unconscious or the subconscious is through the conscious.
right, I got it.
The power book, it's all about being consciously aware. Yeah, Thap.
Yeah, so just to add to that, like Arjun, you were saying yesterday, when you do these therapies, like I've taken a few from Arjun, you understand why you have such fears, which are actually so deep rooted that you will never understand them till you actually are peeling off each layer one by one and understanding what tendencies and what, through your upbringing or through your childhood or your friend circle, what has made you who you are. Because the same thought which you are having right now could instill a fear in you, but if you know why is it instilling a fear in me, then the fear goes away. So understanding that why is very important, and that's a journey in understanding who you are. And once you go in that and you understand that, okay, I'm having this because this is deep rooted in that my pattern or that my tendency, and which is why I'm having it. And then you understand it's actually no fear at all. It is just an experience which I am getting through, and I'm just a spectator, and this is coming and this is going away. It's my behavior and my energy or what attention I'm giving to it is getting me the fear, but it's actually not fearful. So like Arjun explained yesterday, I think it's a very deep rooted thing. And being consciously aware helps you in momentarily on a day-to-day basis, but to to more understand it and to come out of this pattern is when you have to really work on yourself through these therapies and everything.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Harper. Thank you so much. I'll just add with a small story. Don't get me wrong, guys. I have no offenses to anybody. एक कहानी हमने सुनी है ना, एक बंदर होता है पिंजरे के अंदर, वो हाथ पिंजरे से बाहर निकालता है, उसको बंदा केला दे देता है। अब वो कोशिश करता है कि मैं केला पकड़ के अपने पिंजरे में गेट द बनाना बैक टू माय केज, बट अब उसका हाथ फिस्ट बन चुका है, सो इट कैन नॉट एंटर। बट वो पकड़ के बैठा है कि मुझे तो ये केला चाहिए, मैं तो छोड़ नहीं सकता। सो इन ऑर्डर टू गेट टू that his hand is back, he needs to let go. But उस केले की अट्रैक्शन और टेम्पटेशन इतनी स्ट्रांग है कि हम वो लेट गो नहीं करते। The day we get that wisdom, no, healing is nothing but wisdom to the soul, wisdom to the human. जिस दिन उस बंदर को या एनी ह्यूमन को वो विजडम मिल जाए कि ये मेरे लिए अच्छा है और ये मेरे लिए, मैं इसको पकड़ के बैठा हूं, इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, that is the time where you as an individual, as an empowered individual, will let go. And that means let go of that fear when you get that wisdom, and then you will pull your hand in so that you are safe. Love, oops, you got me on that third one. How can love be all there if fear attracts like energy? Love is the ultimate reality. It is the only, the all. The feeling of love is your experience of God. In highest truth, love is all there is, all there was, and all there ever will be. When you move into the absolute, you move into love. The realm of the relative was created in order that I might experience myself. This has already been explained to you. This does not make the realm of the relative real. It is a created reality you and I have devised and continue to devise in order that we may know ourselves experientially. Yet, the creation can seem very real. Its purpose is to seem so real, we accept it as truly existing. In this way, God has contrived to create something else other than itself. Though in strict terms, this is impossible since God is, I am, all that is. In creating something else, namely the realm of the relative, I have produced an environment in which you may choose to be God rather than simply be told that you are God, in which you may experience Godhead as an act of creation rather than a conceptualization, in which the little candle in the sun, the littlest soul, can know itself as the light. Fear is the other end of love. It is the primal polarity. In creating the realm of the relative, I first created the opposite of myself. Now, in the realm in which you live on the physical plane, there are only two places of being, fear and love. Thoughts rooted in fear will produce one kind of a manifestation on the physical plane. Thoughts rooted in love will produce another. So what, it's a big hidden between the lines. The God is telling the author that, what I did was very simple. I created this illusion, this relative reality, and I created the opposite of who I am. Because अगर मैंने आपको ये बता दिया होता that you are God, You're not ready to believe me. So in order to know who we truly are, who I am, because God says, I am that, I am the universe. So in order to realize who we truly are, we need to work on that journey where we get to the reality of the world, of the illusion it is, and then work ourselves in order to meet our true self, that is self-realization, in order to get to that source, in order to get to that state of oneness, which is God realization, which is realizing and meeting with the God inside of you and getting to that realization that I am that. सारा कॉन्सेप्ट इस चीज में, अगर उसने सीधा ही बोल दिया होता दैट यू आर गॉड, क्या मजाक कर रहा है यार, पी क्या लगता है, that's basic reality. So ये सारा का सारा illusion create किया गया so that you are able to first figure out who you truly are, the self-realization. That will become the first step in order to get to who I am, because I am that, and that is God realization. The masters who have walked the planet are those who have discovered the secret of the relative world and refused to acknowledge its reality. In short, masters are those who have chosen only love in every instance, in every moment, in every circumstance. Even as they were being killed, they loved their murderers. Even as they were being persecuted, they loved their oppressors. This is very difficult for you to understand, much less emulate. Nevertheless, it is what every master has ever done. It doesn't matter what the philosophy, it doesn't matter what the tradition, it doesn't matter what the religion, it is what every master has done. This example and this lesson has been laid out so clearly for you, time and time again, over and over, has it been shown to you through all the ages and in every place, through all your lifetimes and in every moment. The universe has used every contrivance to place this truth before you in song and story, in poetry and dance, in words and in motion, in pictures of motion, which you call motion pictures, and in collection of words, which you call books. From the highest mountain, it has been shouted. In the lowest place, its whisper has been heard. Through the corridors of all human experience, has this truth been echoed? Love is the answer, yet you have not listened. Now come you to this book asking God again what God has told you countless times in countless ways. Yet I will tell you again here in the context of this book. Will you listen now? Will you truly hear? What do you think brought you to this material? How does it come to pass that you are holding it in your hands? Do you think I know not what I am doing? There are no coincidences in the universe. I have heard the crying of your heart. I have seen the searching of your soul. I know how deeply you have desired the truth. In pain, have you called out for it? And in joy, unendingly, have you beseeched me, show myself, explain myself, reveal myself. I am doing so here in terms of so plain, you cannot misunderstand. In language so simple, you cannot be confused. In vocabulary so common, you cannot get lost in the verbiage. So go ahead now, ask me anything, anything. I will contrive to bring you the answer. The whole universe will I use to do this. So be on the lookout. The book is far from my only tool. You may ask a question, then put this book down, but watch, listen, the words to the next song you hear, the information in the next article you read, the storyline of the next movie you watch, the chance utterance of the next person you meet, or the whisper of the next river, the next ocean, the next breeze that caresses your ear. All these devices are mine. All these avenues are open to me. I will speak to you if you will listen. I will come to you if you will invite me. I will show you then that I have always been there, always.